Well,
All right, are we ready?
What are we not doing?
No, Daryl. I clap, you open.
We need a hand signal from our producer. Does that mean go? Hey. Hey, it's time for Caffeine Not Included. I'm Daryl Mott, and I'm here with Brennan Poole.
Boom.
That's
yeah,
Brennan.
does that mic you to talk or no?
Or just make like a hand signal. So, all right, so obviously you saw the title, you clicked on it. We'll just get right into the nasty details of this crazier than true story. It is called Abducted in Plain Sight. It's a dumpster fire.
Oh man,
There's a lot to unpack.
This is one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life. And I'm a big true crime guy. I love true crime. I love watching forensic files. I love watching how they catch the bad guy. Yeah, I love all that stuff. When they had America's Most Wanted, those shows, like I would stay up and like watch with my parents. I like watching the true crime stuff, and I like figuring out how they caught the bad guy, and I like knowing like things to do myself to prevent, so I can be safe.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah.
I remember the most scared I ever was as a kid is I watched America's Most Wanted, and it was about a guy, a kid, a teenager, and he killed his parents. But remember at the end, if they didn't find him, the guy would come out in the trench coat and be like, this guy is on the loose.
Yeah, and they would show the pictures.
This is the last time we've seen him on this 7-Eleven camera. I was convinced, like, now that I watched this, I'm going to see him and he's going to know that I saw this.
He's going to come after you.
He's going to kill my parents. But unfortunately...
Your parents are still good,
they're great,
right?
yeah.
They're fine?
So
okay.
I guess not unfortunately.
Fortunately,
he never did run into me, and but I was really scared. But this is a true crime story, Abducted in Plain Sight, that you probably heard a lot about. People are very upset about this particular story.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Tough story.
True crime, all the ones you're seeing now happened before. We're not seeing true crime 2018, 2014. Hold on.
Get that LaCroix. Not a paid partnership by LaCroix.
It was because I was
eating too many peanut butter pretzels.
And what I'm trying to get at is that the reason like this particular story took place in what 1974. And the Ted Bundy stuff, like all the true crime is about how stupid people were.
What was interesting?
Back in the 70s.
What was interesting to me in Abducted in Plain Sight was the fact that when I'm watching this, in my day and age, in my time, like we're very aware of pedophiles and that danger that there is. But during this time, when they were talking about it, they'd never even heard of that word before. Like that word wasn't really used, right?
Well, I guess
that's what they were saying. I mean, I'm just going off of the film. I wasn't alive in 1974.
So here's how the story goes down. There's a little girl named Jan that lives in Idaho somewhere with her family, and they go to this church, and they have this friend from church who's got also like his family and kids, and there's two families and sets of kids. This guy who we're gonna call B because that's his name in the story. He's the family friend. He takes a liking to Jan, which is one of the daughters, and an obsession develops, and he obviously becomes obsessed with this little girl. And he's like in his 40s, and she's tiny.
She's 12
yeah.
The first time she is kidnapped, she is 12 years old in 1974.
Yeah, and then this guy like takes her, and the family knows that it's not like, oh, who took her? Oh, this guy took her.
Yeah.
This B guy, and they're this is our friend, so maybe he just wanted some extra time with her. And that's first 5 minutes of the movie. You already have your jaw open like, wait, what? I wouldn't let somebody borrow my dog for 3 days.
Well, they didn't call. What I thought was interesting too is that they didn't really call the cops until a few days later because there wasn't really any concern. They just assumed that they would come back home and everything would be fine, which was interesting to me. But I think it's just a different time period, right? It's kind of crazy. It's like you're watching something back in time and how much we've learned over a period of time. It's interesting.
Yeah, like science has like already picked up, right? DNA. There's cameras on every like 5 feet of the world.
Yeah, they would catch you. You would be caught
within
real
24
quick.
hours.
Yeah,
right? And there's digital receipts from credit cards and whatever. Basically, this saga goes over like a whole long time span because this isn't an isolated event. He gets intertwined with this whole family, and it's just like every few minutes you're just gut punched with another fact.
Another wild twist to the story.
And you want to turn it off, but you're like, I gotta see how this continues on. And Jan, obviously, from the previews and the trailers, she's still alive. So she's like in the movie, the documentary, being like, I'm a grown up now, but this is what I remember about the story. And this was actually made in 2017. It hit Netflix recently, which is why you're hearing about it. It's an hour and a half long. True crime is the genre. It's a, you know, we don't want to make this explicit, right? It's a messed up story.
Yeah, if you want to watch the documentary and hear from it firsthand, I think you should check it out. Like, why you should watch it. I think, obviously, if you love true crime stories, you want to see how this guy gets caught, how everything unfolded in this story. Maybe you've heard about it in the news a period of time, or you've heard about this documentary already. I think it's something that's interesting to watch, but it is very, very deep and very crazy. I mean, it's kind of some dark stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed it because I liked seeing how they ultimately caught this guy at the end, and then how, I mean, there's a lot of twists and turns in there. I don't want to give it away until we get to the spoiler section. But I enjoyed hearing the story and seeing what Jan's doing now. All that stuff was great for me to watch. And during it, I'm like, man, this is, I mean, it's tough to watch. But I think it's a documentary that people should see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't hate it, but I just found myself being like, this is a commitment to watch this, because I mean, 1 minute gets more unbelievable than the next minute. It just keeps going to the point where you're like, I can't believe this is real life. I told you, I thought we were being Blair Witched. I thought this is like a mockumentary.
Like, did this actually happen?
And they're gonna come out and be like, I'm an actor, you know. But apparently it's a real story, and there's an FBI director in there, and the parents that are kind of, you know, you say the parents are responsible for their children. In any situation, they're interviewed throughout this whole film, giving their input on how this went down.
And how it went down. Yeah, that was very interesting. I mean, you really get to hear the entire story, and they have some recordings of B, the guy who did the kidnapping. They have some of his recordings and stuff that went on, so it was interesting. You really got to hear kind of what everyone was thinking in perspective, and kind of what they were doing throughout it, and so it was good information. But I think we should jump to the.
Well, we got to tell them why they shouldn't watch it.
Well, why you shouldn't watch it, yeah.
If you're looking for like a true crime that just has a little more like to sink your teeth into, where you're a little more on the edge of your seat, I think this is not that. This is just like, this is a shit show. Like, this is plain and simple. Like, the parents were terrible. The kids were weird. Like, the whole situation was very weird and unsettling. And
it's a real life true story. I mean, it's
of a lot of grown-ups being really terrible.
It's so it's tough to watch. It's tough to understand how that much bad stuff can happen
to one girl.
So it's tough to see that. But
so that's that. That's abducted in plain sight.
That's what it is. So I think now we just jump into the spoilers, so we tell more a little bit about the story. For those of you who already know everything about it, who aren't going to watch it or whatever, you can continue watching. If not, and you're going to go watch this right now, please like and subscribe to our channel for more videos like these.
Thanks.
So you ready to jump into the spoilers? Because this is a battle. This is a.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's jump into it.
Quick disclaimer: we're not piling on the parents. this is our gut reaction to what we watched.
When I watched it, it was pure shock that something like this could happen. Then again, I do have to look at that this took place originally in 1974. But she gets kidnapped. She gets kidnapped twice.
By the same guy.
By the same guy. And you think, how is that even possible?
Let's just put that fact over here. So she gets kidnapped by the same person twice. That's friends with their family. Okay, I can handle that fact. Let's add another fact into the case. The kidnapper gave a hand job to this kid's father and slept with the mother. What?
There were two relationships going on. So well, really, there's three relationships going on, because they're
and gave a hand job to the father.
And this is
in between kidnappings.
This guy has a relationship with all of them, and so he's able to kind of use that to his advantage to still kind of, one, keep himself out of trouble, because no one's talking about all this weird stuff that's happening.
Nobody wants to get caught.
No one wants to get caught, so he uses that as a leveraging tool to keep himself protected, and then also as a way to still be able to see the girl, which is just twisted, crazy.
How they convinced the parents to sit down and even talk about this.
I don't know.
The dad is literally like, and then I gave him a hand job because I felt bad for him. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then later, not even like 20 minutes later, the mom's like, and we were at a church picnic, and so I just started kissing and necking, and then we had sex. And you're like, this is not real life. So what happens, the worst part of the whole thing is that the parents sign an affidavit basically saying, nope, we knew that our daughter was with this guy.
The first kidnapping. She takes him to Mexico, and the FBI just like busts down his motorhome door, and then they get her, and they finally it's over. It's over. Because I didn't know the whole story when I first started to watch it. So it was like we got her, and they give him to. Well, he somehow convinces the guard, right? Pays him off, whatever, and to talk to her, and just fills her head full of all these lies, which we haven't even mentioned the part that
we're gonna get to the alien.
We're gonna get to the alien part. You're thinking aliens, what? So he convinces her to not say anything to the parents, all this stuff, never speak of it, blah blah blah. So they do all these But
the FBI is still like, we got him. We
got him. This guy is done.
And they're like,
kidnapped.
We just need you to say yes. And
he took her without your permission.
Can't do it because then everyone's gonna know about the hand job and the sex.
So it's so they end up signing and saying nothing. So this guy gets out, and the FBI agent was ticked off.
Once a kidnapper.
He was and they literally are like, we're gonna go after him anyways. But what did he get? 45 days or something?
Yeah, and then it got reduced down to 6.
Yeah, he was out in no time, and
What did he do? He did what he does. He kidnapped her again.
Well, yeah, he goes to work for his brother Joe at Cars.
I will say that was the best part of the movie.
The brother was
the brother.
The brother was kind of a.
He's like, well, he's into kids. What do you want me to do? He sells a lot of cars for me.
Yeah, that part was.
That's the best part of the movie. So basically, the mom and dad play this whole naive angle of we just didn't know. We didn't know about any of this stuff. We live in this little quiet town and we didn't know. And the frustrating part of this movie is who's to say? Either they definitely knew what was going on because, by the way, our producer hasn't seen this yet, so it's fun to watch his reactions. So he slept in the same bed with this little girl.
Because it was part of his therapy.
Because his therapist told him this is what he needs. And the parents were like,
okay.
You can sleep with our daughter.
He was like, you can call the therapist. But then the FBI finds out that the therapist guy wasn't even really a licensed therapist, and they gave him all these tapes, these weird tapes. Remember, it was wild.
But their parents knowingly let him sleep at their house for 6 months, 4 nights a week.
Yeah.
In her bed.
Yeah, all the way up until the first kidnapping.
Can't. So then the only other thing we're leaving out is there's an alien. There's an alien.
This is how he convinces her to kind of have the relationship with him, but he stages this car accident that happened and made it they got abducted after he drugged her with sleeping pills, and then plays it off it was an alien abduction, and they're the last that they're half alien, and they have to make a baby in order to save their alien planet. Yeah,
so now you're I don't want to call this 12-year-old kidnapped victim stupid, but you're watching it what? How could this happen?
But at the same time, you think when you're 12, she's so young. I mean, how do you?
He's a master sociopath manipulator. This dude's bad news.
Really bad.
Wouldn't call it an enjoyable movie, but there it is.
No, but it's definitely an interesting story. I definitely, if you like true crime stuff, this really happened, and it's something to, I think, watch and be aware of. Even crazier is when she's much older, she has to face him again in a court of law, right?
Yeah.
And she hasn't seen this guy in 30 years or something crazy, or
since
something.
He's 80.
Yeah, he's 80 years. It's crazy.
I went parasailing. I had fun. I would say the reason to enjoy it though is just for this, being able to call your friends and being did you watch this? What is going on? I enjoyed that part of the movie.
Yeah,
getting to talk to people about it.
Yeah, I enjoyed when you first were you need to watch this documentary. I was okay, and then I watched it, and then when we chatted about it afterwards, I was man, it actually
you called me mid-movie.
Mid-movie. I actually paused it mid documentary and was Man, this is crazy. So
check it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Abducted in Plain Sight on Netflix now. Let us know in the comments below, did we get this one right? Hopefully you enjoyed this review.
Send us an email at caffeinenotincludedmedia@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll talk about that. In the meantime, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.